super soldiers, and the Zyla Inception. The red dust of Mars swirled around the entrance of the man-made cave as a group of Marines and mineral extractors huddled near the opening. Among them stood Sergeant Kane, his genetically enhanced frame towering over the others. His eyes, sharper than any ordinary human's, scanned the horizon. "Movement to the west," Kane announced, his voice cutting through the thin Martian atmosphere. The others turned, squinting against the rusty haze. At first, they saw nothing, but soon a massive wall of dust appeared, racing towards them with terrifying speed. "Dust storm!" shouted one of the miners, panic evident in his voice. "Everyone, into the cave!" Chaos erupted as the group scrambled to gather their equipment and retreat to safety. Kane helped usher the civilians inside, his enhanced strength allowing him to carry heavy gear with ease. But as the storm drew nearer, it became clear not everyone would make it in time. "Run!" Kane bellowed to the stragglers, but his words were lost in the roar of the approaching tempest. He watched helplessly as 3 miners disappeared into the billowing red cloud. As the storm raged outside, Kane paced the cave entrance, his mind racing. Once the dust settled, he knew what he had to do. The nearest hub with the transport was miles away, across treacherous Martian terrain. But if anyone could make the journey in time to save the stranded miners, it was him. The moment the storm began to subside, Kane stepped out into the eerie calm of the Martian landscape. The transmission station had been obliterated in the storm as soon as it had moved in. The only thing to do was make the trek back to his city. With a nod to his fellow Marines, he set off at an inhuman pace, his augmented legs carrying him swiftly across the red planet's surface. The race against time had begun. As Kane sprinted across the Martian landscape, his enhanced lungs efficiently processing the thin atmosphere, he couldn't shake the image of the miners vanishing into the storm. The red dust crunched beneath his boots, and the distant sun cast long shadows across the barren terrain. Hours passed, and the hub finally appeared on the horizon, a dome-like structure gleaming in the fading light. Kane pushed himself harder, his muscles burning despite his augmentations. Inside the hub, alarms blared as Kane burst through the airlock. "We need a transport," he gasped, startling the technicians. Miners stranded in Sector 7. The hub erupted into action. Within minutes, a rescue team was assembled, and Kane found himself in the co-pilot's seat of a sturdy Martian rover, racing back the way he had come. As they neared the cave, Kane's enhanced vision caught sight of something in the distance. "There!" he shouted, pointing at 3 figures stumbling through the dust. The rover screeched to a halt beside the exhausted miners. Kane leapt out, helping them into the vehicle. They were dehydrated, and their suits were damaged, but alive. "You came back for us," one of them mumbled, eyes wide with disbelief. Kane nodded grimly. "We leave no one behind on Mars." As they drove back to the hub, Kane's comlink crackled to life. It was his commanding officer, her voice tense. "Sergeant, we've got a situation. That dust storm, it uncovered something. The science team is picking up strange energy readings from the cave system." Kane exchanged a worried glance with the rescue team. What they had initially thought was just another Martian storm might be the beginning of something far more mysterious and potentially dangerous. "Understood, ma'am," Kane replied, his mind already racing with possibilities. "We're heading back to base now. What are your orders?" The comlink was silent for a moment before his CO responded. "Prepare your team, Sergeant. As soon as those miners are safe, you're going back in. Whatever's down there, we need to find it before anyone else does." As the hub grew larger in the viewport, Kane couldn't shake the feeling that their real mission on Mars was only just beginning. The hub's medical bay bustled with activity as the rescued miners received treatment. Kane stood outside, briefing his team of Marines on their new mission. "Listen up," he said, his voice low and serious. "The storm uncovered something in those caves. We don't know what it is, but it's emitting energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before. Our job is to investigate and secure whatever we find." Private Rodriguez, the team's tech specialist, spoke up. "Any theories on what it could be, Sarge? Ancient Martian tech? Or something not from around here?" Kane shook his head. "Your guess is as good as mine. Be prepared for anything." As they geared up, Dr. Eliza Chen, the mission's lead scientist, approached Kane. "Sergeant, I'm coming with you," she said firmly. "Whatever's down there, we'll need scientific expertise on site." Kane nodded, knowing better than to argue. Within the hour, their transport was racing back across the Martian surface towards the cave system. The entrance loomed before them, dark and foreboding. Kane activated his suit's advanced sensors as they moved deeper into the cave. The energy readings grew stronger with each step. "It's just ahead," Dr. Chen whispered, her voice tense with excitement and fear. They rounded a corner and froze. In a large cavern, partially uncovered by the recent storm, stood a structure that was undeniably artificial, and clearly not of human origin. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move in the light of their headlamps. "My God," breathed Rodriguez. It's beautiful." Dr. Chen approached cautiously, her scanner whirring. "The energy is coming from inside. It seems to be pulsing." Suddenly, the patterns on the structure began to glow brighter. A low hum filled the cavern, vibrating through their suits. "Everyone, back up," Kane ordered, but it was too late. A beam of intense light shot out from the structure, enveloping Dr. Chen. She gasped, her body rigid, suspended in the air for a moment before collapsing to the ground. Kane rushed to her side as the rest of the team raised their weapons, unsure where to aim in the face of this unknown threat. "Dr. Chen," Kane called, checking her vitals. She was alive, but unconscious. As he looked up, he noticed something that made his blood run cold. The patterns on the structure had changed, and now they looked eerily similar to the neural patterns of a human brain. Whatever this artifact was, it had just downloaded something from Dr. Chen, or perhaps uploaded something to her. And Kane had a sinking feeling that this discovery was about to change everything they thought they knew about Mars, and humanity's place in the universe. As alarms blared from their suit systems and his team looked to him for direction, Kane realized that the true nature of their mission on Mars was only beginning to unfold. Kane's mind raced as he assessed the situation. "Rodriguez, get Dr. Chen back to the transport. Harper, set up a perimeter. No one touches that thing until we know what we're dealing with." As his team scrambled to follow orders, Kane activated his comlink. They had brought a new transmission tech with them to the mining base that allowed him to communicate with the hub. "Base, this is Sergeant Kane. We have a Code Omega situation. I repeat, Code Omega. Dr. Chen is down, and we've encountered something. Requesting immediate backup and a full quarantine protocol." The reply came swiftly, laden with tension. "Copy that, Sergeant. Lockdown initiated. Reinforcements are en route. Hold your position and do not, under any circumstances, interact further with the artifact." Hours passed in tense silence. The artifact remained dormant, its patterns now static. Dr. Chen hadn't regained consciousness, but her vitals remained stable. As the reinforcements arrived, led by Colonel Vance, Kane briefed them on the situation. The Colonel's face grew grim as he listened. "This goes beyond our mission parameters," Vance said. "We're initiating Protocol Sentinel. This cave system is now under complete lockdown. No one in or out without direct authorization from Earth Command." Suddenly, Dr. Chen stirred, her eyes fluttering open. But as she spoke, Kane felt a chill run down his spine. Her voice was different, carrying an otherworldly resonance. "The awakening has begun," she intoned, her gaze unfocused. "The Zyla left us here, waiting. Now, the children of Earth must face the trial." Kane and Vance exchanged alarmed looks. "Dr. Chen," Kane said cautiously. "What do you mean? Who are the Zyla?" Chen's eyes locked onto Kane, a look of recognition flickering across her face. "The Enhanced One," she murmured. You are key." Before Kane could respond, alarms blared throughout the cave. Rodriguez's voice came through the comlink, panic evident. "Sarge! The artifact! It's activating again!" The cavern filled with a pulsing light as the artifact hummed to life. Strange symbols began to project onto the cave walls, shifting and changing rapidly. "It's a message," one of the scientists exclaimed. "No, it's a map." As they watched in awe, the projection coalesced into a clear image. A star map, with a specific location highlighted. A location deep in uncharted space. Dr. Chen spoke again, her voice a mixture of her own and something alien. "The trial awaits at the Crucible. Humanity must prove itself worthy, or face extinction." Kane felt the weight of the moment press down on him. Whatever this artifact was, whatever had happened to Dr. Chen, it was clear that the destiny of Earth now hung in the balance. And somehow, he was at the center of it all. As Colonel Vance barked orders and the cave buzzed with frantic activity, Kane stared at the star map, a single thought echoing in his mind. Nothing would ever be the same again. As the news of the discovery spread across the Martian colonies, a mixture of fear, excitement, and determination swept through the population. The message from the artifact, relayed through Dr. Chen, was clear. Humanity had been issued a challenge by an ancient alien race known as the Zyla. The star map projected by the artifact pointed to a location deep in uncharted space, a place referred to as the Crucible. This was where humanity would face its trial, a test to prove its worthiness among the stars. But there was a catch, a deadline. The message indicated that humanity had a few hundred years to reach the Crucible. If they failed to arrive within this time frame, the consequences would be dire, an intergalactic war that would lead to humanity's inevitable extinction. Scientists and engineers across Mars quickly got to work, analyzing the star map and calculating the distance. With current technology, the journey would take close to 500 years, cutting it far too close for comfort. But with the rapid advancements in propulsion technology being made on Mars, many believed they could develop the means to reach the Crucible well within the given time frame. The Martian government issued a planet-wide address. "Citizens of Mars, we stand at a crossroads of human history. The discovery in Sector 7 has revealed our place in a larger galactic community, and we have been challenged. We must reach the Crucible or face annihilation. But make no mistake, we will succeed. The spirit that brought us to Mars will carry us to the stars. Every resource, every mind, every effort must be directed towards this goal. The future of our species depends on it." Research facilities across Mars shifted their focus to developing faster-than-light travel. Colonial expansion plans were accelerated to gather more resources. A new sense of unity emerged among the Martian colonies, all working towards the common goal of reaching the Crucible. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the news was met with skepticism at first. But as more data was transmitted from Mars, the reality of the situation sank in. Humanity faced its greatest challenge yet, and failure was not an option. As preparations began for the longest journey in human history, Sergeant Kane found himself at the center of it all. Dr. Chen's words echoed in his mind. "You are key." Whatever role he was to play in this cosmic trial, he knew that the fate of humanity now rested on their ability to reach the Crucible in time. Centuries passed, and humanity's greatest achievement was realized. A fleet of advanced starships capable of crossing vast distances through space. As they approached the coordinates of the Crucible, tension mounted among the crew. The fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel near a massive gas giant, its swirling storms visible from millions of miles away. Orbiting this behemoth was a moon unlike any they had ever seen. Its surface was almost entirely covered by an enormous structure, the Coliseum. As the ships entered orbit, Sergeant Kane, now Captain Kane, stood on the bridge of the lead vessel. His body, kept in prime condition through advanced medical technology, still bore the enhancements that had made him a super soldier centuries ago. Alongside him stood other enhanced individuals, humanity's best and brightest, chosen for this pivotal moment. "We've got a lock on the landing coordinates," announced the navigation officer. "It's a massive platform adjacent to the Coliseum's main entrance." Kane nodded grimly. "Take us in." As they descended, the true scale of the Coliseum became apparent. It dwarfed any structure ever built by human hands, its architecture both beautiful and alien. Upon landing, Kane led a team of super soldiers towards the entrance. As they approached, a booming voice echoed around them, seeming to come from the very structure itself. Champions of Earth, you have arrived. Prepare yourselves for the trial. The massive doors of the Coliseum ground open, revealing a vast arena within. And there, in the center, stood their opponent. It was a being of pure energy, constantly shifting and reforming. One moment it appeared humanoid, the next it was a writhing mass of tentacles, then a four-legged beast. Its size was immense, easily 20 meters tall. I am Zyla, guardian of the Crucible. The being's voice resonated in their minds. Your trial is simple. Defeat me in combat, and humanity will be deemed worthy. Fail, and your species will be erased. Kane stepped forward, his enhanced muscles tensing for battle. We didn't come all this way to fail, he declared, his voice steady despite the overwhelming odds. Zyla's form solidified into a giant warrior, a sword of crackling energy forming in its hand. Then let the trial begin. With a roar that shook the Coliseum, Zyla charged. Kane and his team scattered, their advanced weapons firing salvos of energy that seemed to be absorbed by their opponent. As the battle raged, it became clear that this was no ordinary fight. It would take more than brute strength or advanced technology to overcome this cosmic guardian. The fate of humanity hung in the balance as Kane and his team faced their greatest challenge yet. The battle raged across the enormous arena, a dazzling display of superhuman abilities and advanced weaponry against the cosmic power of Zyla. Kane and his team moved with incredible speed and coordination, their enhanced reflexes allowing them to dodge Zyla's energy blasts and powerful strikes. Private Rodriguez, utilizing her mastery of their most advanced energy weapons, managed to destabilize Zyla's form momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Lieutenant Harper unleashed a barrage of nanobots that swarmed the energy being, disrupting its cohesion. Kane saw his chance. Activating his suit's experimental quantum drive, he phased through Zyla's defenses, striking at its core with a specially designed nullifier. The device pulsed, sending out waves of anti-energy that seemed to resonate with Zyla's very essence. For a moment, the Coliseum fell silent. Then, with a blinding flash, Zyla collapsed in on itself before exploding outward in a harmless shower of light particles. As the light faded, Zyla reformed, but this time as a smaller, less imposing figure. Its voice, once booming, now held a tone of respect. Champions of Earth, you have triumphed. Your species has proven its worth through courage, ingenuity, and unity. The being gestured, and suddenly the walls of the Coliseum became transparent, revealing a breathtaking view of countless stars and galaxies. Welcome, Zyla continued, to the greater community of cosmic beings. Each light you see represents a world or civilization that has passed the trial, home to entities much like myself. Images began to flash around them, strange and wondrous beings of energy, living stars, sentient gas clouds, and other life forms beyond human imagination. You have earned your place among us. The knowledge and wonders of the universe are now open to you. Your journey, humanity's true journey, begins now. Kane and his team stood in awe, the weight of their accomplishments sinking in. They had not only saved humanity from extinction, but had also ushered in a new era of cosmic exploration and understanding. As Nexus began to explain the nature of their new reality and the responsibilities that came with it, Kane couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and excitement. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. The stars, once distant and unreachable, were now theirs to explore. The future stretched out before them, filled with endless possibilities and new frontiers.